One of my favorite moments was from last season during the last game. We actually had a couple smoke bombs that were duds. And so we ran out of smoke because we scored so many goals.
Yeah.
And we're saying like, what do we do? What do we do? And then as the team's celebrating, the rest of the crowd is chanting at us, we want the smoke.
And we're all like, we're
I'm
done
sorry.
with the smoke.
And they're all, we ran out of smoke. We ran out of smoke.
You heard that there. They ran out of smoke. And as you'll hear in this episode, when the 6 Districts Coalition runs out of smoke, that means that the South Bend Lions have been kicking some major you-know-what. More of that later, but first, welcome to Round the Bend Now and Then, a podcast that shines a light on the South Bend and Mishawaka area. Through interviews with local business owners, leaders, and community members, our listeners and I learn together about all of the great people and great things going on in our community, as we also learn about South Bend and Mishawaka's history and how intertwined our past is with our present. In this episode, I meet with R.J. Connors and Jonathon Morrison. Jonathon is the president and founder of the South Bend Lions supporters group, the 6 Districts Coalition, and RJ is the outreach chair. As you know, I want to craft episodes that highlight the many good things going on in our area and also share some local history along the way. This episode really doesn't share too much local history, and it just focuses on a passionate, mighty group of fans supporting our local soccer team and at the same time doing great things for our community. If you're like me, you might not have known too much about the 6 Districts Coalition, or even much about the South Bend Lions. In this episode, you'll learn more about the Lions and just what a supporters group is and does, specifically the 6 Districts Coalition. You'll learn that their mission is way more than just cheering on a soccer team. Yes, they are the best and most rowdiest fans in the USL, but they also want to help our community by leading supply drives, donation drives, coaching clinics, and more. Before we hear about the 6DC's passion for the South Bend Lions and our community, I want to share a little bit of Jonathon and RJ's background. Jonathon is originally from Mexico and immigrated to South Bend, Indiana as a 12-year-old, where he brought his lifelong love of soccer. He eventually attended Riley High School, where he graduated in 2013. He stayed connected to the soccer community ever since, putting on coaching clinics, playing in leagues himself, coaching various teams, including Junior Irish and Riley High School. R.J. Connors moved to South Bend more recently as his wife is from the area. Prior to moving to South Bend, he lived in multiple different places over the years, including Pennsylvania, Indianapolis, Fort Wayne, and Oregon. And as he explains, he's very glad that he moved to the South Bend and Mishawaka area more recently, as he's found a resurgence in our cities. Next, RJ provides some background to who the South Bend Lions are, as well as some background to the league that they're in, the United Soccer League, or USL for short. Let's talk about the South Bend Lions. If nobody knew South Bend had a semi-pro soccer team, what would you tell them?
So South Bend Lions, the way I kind of put it is it's basically kind of like if you're a huge baseball fan, the one I go towards is the Future College Baseball League.
Okay.
It's like a college summer league right now. We are USL 2.
Okay.
So it's a 2.5-month season. It runs from May to July. And it's mostly college players or people just out of college who are trying to get, their start in the system. Because USL has 3 tiers as of right now. They've got USL 2, which we're in. And above that's USL 1. And that's an official pro league. So they go a full season from, February all the way through November. And then they've got the USL Championship, which is where teams like Detroit and Indianapolis and Pittsburgh are. And that's like the highest level of USL. And then above that is going to be MLS, Major League Soccer, which is...
That's the
big wigs, but they're not related to USL at all. USL is kind of like a pyramid where all the leagues kind of work together in some way. Where MLS is kind of their own thing.
Before we get into the 6 Districts Coalition specifically, I asked Jonathon what a supporter group is in general. I always say that sports are so much more than just a mitt, a ball, and some cleats. Sports are something that brings people together and often does good for the community, as you'll hear next. You mentioned, forming the supporters group and everything. So what exactly is a supporters group? Because you're more than just Like you said, you're more than just yelling and screaming at the games.
So it depends. It depends pretty much on what part of the world you are.
Okay.
But basically, for the most part, it is a group of people, or in most cases, around a large group of people. Now when you come together and chant and kind of create the live atmosphere of the game, but they're usually the heartbeat of the community.
Okay.
They're usually the ones they're like, helping out to see what needs of the community there is. Whether it be like, doing like a fundraiser, for someone that went through an unfortunate situation, or whether it be something where like, someone needs a ride somewhere. It's just, they're basically the heart of the community. They're the ones that kind of usually doing like drives, all that type of stuff. Just people that really kind of want to get back, but as well as being crazy big soccer and being loud in the game. So which is kind of what we're known for.
That's great.
Yeah. They kind of touch on that just a little bit.
Yeah.
It's also just the fact that these are just fans. We have no tie to the team at all. Well, outside of like forming like relationships, but like we're not,
you're not on their payroll.
Yeah, we're not employed by them. We just do this for the fact that we love the team, we love the community, and we want to make sure that all of it succeeds together.
And I want to include more to what he's saying. The cool thing about our supporters group is guys that are literally a part of the community in some way and fashion. For example, he's a teacher.
Yep.
I'm a coach. Victor is very involved in the Hispanic community of things, and he kind of helps interact with that. Ryan, who also was involved like with schools and stuff like that, in the Southern Michigan and stuff like that. It's all guys that literally like the game, already do something in the community. Now we're just kind of pinning our minds together to kind of do more.
Next, I asked Jonathon about the creation of the 6 Districts Coalition, and as you'll hear, he had it all planned in his head, even before the South Bend Lions were even thought of. Why don't you talk about how the 6 Districts Coalition kind of came together?
Well, this is really all something that I just kind of thought about doing for many years. So way before, the most ironic thing about all this is way before South Bend Lions was even a thing.
Right.
There used to be a club called the Indiana Invaders.
Okay.
And Indiana Invaders is a team that I ended up playing for. And once they kind of disappeared, there was no really any soccer involved in the area at all.
Yeah.
Like I think the most we ever got was the high schools and Notre Dame. But I mean, most people don't really want to go to Notre Dame for a game, you know what I'm saying? Mainly because people are there for football, not really for soccer. So I kind of got together with Gerardo Uribe, who's a guy that I went to high school with. And he was one of my high school best friends. And I kind of was like, listen, like, once the soccer team pops up here, we got to be on go. You know what I'm saying?
So you were ready.
We
like
got to be
call.
on go. Yes. So I think it was like, I want to say like a week or two before. I'm pretty well connected to people in the soccer community. Because again, player, coach, and whatnot. And I got wind that like, dude, there might be a soccer team here in South Bend. I'm like, stop playing with me, man. Like, like stop playing. Are you serious? And he's like, yeah, there might be a soccer team. So I kind of gave it like, a couple days to kind of see what was going on. And then I got invited to go to the, I guess where they kind of like were going to announce the team in downtown, the courthouse.
Yeah.
And I actually was there. I told Gerardo, I was like, hey, man, let's go right now.
Yeah. Dang, you were right there.
And we were there from the start. I mean, I think that same day I talked to Richie, who's the owner all the way from England.
Okay.
And then I talked to Chris Rebbett, who does the day-to-day operations on the UK side.
Okay.
For South Bend Lions. And I told him, like, listen, like, I want to create a supporters group, but not just where we go crazy and we go crazy on the stands or whatever, but something that kind of brings back to the community at the same time. Like bringing people together that collectively want to make a difference. And he was sold on it. So from the jump, they kind of like helped me out with that, as well as Gerardo, who I think right now he's in the military now. Yeah. And we've been going ever since. So.
Wow. That's something else. So you were, even before there was a South Bend Lions, you knew that you were going to do something for whatever team came here.
No, for sure. Because I mean, in my opinion, I feel like as someone who's been living here for about, I want to say 15, 16, 17 years now, in my opinion, I feel like South Bend has always been a soccer city. We already live in an area that is like obsessed with sports.
Right.
Why can't we give that same energy for soccer?
Right.
like you see it everywhere in Argentina. I mean, you saw how crazy Argentina looked like after they won the World Cup.
Oh yeah.
Why can't we have that in South Bend? Now, granted, it's gonna take steps. You know,
of course,
we're not gonna be Notre Dame or whatever. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
That's probably always will be number one. I'm not naive to think that. But it's like, I've always felt like, you know, if I have this passion for soccer, if I have this passion for my community, my city that I grew up on,
right,
and I have this passion for this, why can't other people collectively share their passion too, you know?
Right. Next, RJ provides some background into the 6DC Coalition and how they came up with their mission statement as well as their name. Man, what exactly is the 6 Districts Coalition? I mean, I know that it's kind of multifaceted, right? I mean, you're a supporters group, but you also want to do well for the community.
Yeah, so we as a group, we kind of came together just as the South Bend's Lions got, you know, announced.
Right.
You know, where Mayor Pete and the current mayor came in and they did this big announcement down in downtown. That night, 6 Districts Coalition was born with a few guys. And then less than a week later, we all got together and met at Hop Station right here in Mishawaka.
Absolutely.
And we just decided, okay, what do we want to do? We didn't even have a name yet. We were just South Bend soccer supporters.
Yeah.
And we knew we wanted to get a group, and we set down the guidelines of what do we want this to be?
Right.
What is it going to be? What are our goals? And then through there, you know, unfortunately, we didn't even get to have that first season because COVID hit and the pandemic.
Oh, you're right.
Yeah. So during that time, we kind of really reassessed what we were going to do because we didn't really have to hit the ground running as much. We had a whole year to prepare.
Yeah.
So like I came through and like I wrote up some stuff, made kind of our official mission statement.
Yeah.
Which the big thing was to support soccer, not just in the community, but also to support the community as a whole.
Okay.
Because the idea of the name, even the 6 Districts Coalition, is because South Bend is made of 6 districts.
Okay.
And we want to bring them together.
I see.
Because a coalition, not only is it, it's technically the name for a group of male lions.
Okay.
But it's, you know, a bunch of people from different, like, political or maybe philosophical backgrounds coming together for a common purpose.
Wow. I truly didn't know that. Didn't know that a coalition was a group of lions.
To be honest, it was kind of a happy accident. Because you're like, coalition sounds really cool.
It does.
Because like a lot of us come from different ethnic and not and political and just socioeconomic backgrounds coming together. Like that's like a coalition. That sounds really cool. And they're like, by the way, this is also what it means. Like,
that's wild.
Well, and then the name just stuck from there.
That's neat. And I do like because I was curious how the name came about, and this is the first time I've heard it. And it's the 6 districts, their city has 6 districts, and just bringing folks together, coalition, and that's neat. Next, I asked RJ what their mission is, and if you can't get behind that, then you don't have a pulse.
It's to bring together the community in support of our local soccer team, as well as outreach to improve the community as a whole.
I got you. So it is. It's kind of. It is to bring folks together for the love of soccer and the team, but also just providing support to the community too.
Yeah, we have a strong love for this city and this community as a whole.
Yeah, and
we just want to make a positive impact on it. We want to make life for the opposing fans awful while they're on the pitch.
Yes,
but then the second everyone's off the pitch, it's all about helping each other out. Yeah.
RJ just shared what their mission is. Next, he shares some of the community outreach that the 6DC has done in the past, as well as a few planned events this season. So be sure to listen very closely for the dates. May 27th, June 17th. What are some of the community outreach things that the 6 Districts Coalition has done in the past?
So within the past couple of years, a few things we've done are small donations here and there.
Okay.
We have a rivalry with Fort Wayne.
Okay.
So through that every year, we've had a few people where we kind of have a bet where if Fort Wayne wins, we donate money to their zoo.
Okay.
And if South Bend wins, we donate money to an animal shelter here in town.
Nice. That's neat.
Yeah.
That's
so
neat.
We've done that. We've gone out to help a few groups like United Way, just with manpower and things like that. And then we also, Jonathon hosts some free coaching clinics for kids who want to play soccer, but maybe can't afford those types of things.
It's an expensive sport. Anything going on this year coming up, or what are some community things going on now?
So on May 27th, we're going to be doing a supply drive for the homeless shelter in South Bend.
Okay.
And I've got a list that I'm going to post on social media when it comes to that.
Perfect.
We're going to be outside the stadium raising funds. We're looking at having a grill. So for anyone who makes a donation, we're going to have free hot dogs available for them.
Nice.
As well as just creating a jovial atmosphere outside. We'll have our drums and our banners and all that too. So it's going to be hard to miss us.
Okay. So on May 27th at School Field, right?
Actually, I believe it's going to be at St. Joe's.
Oh, it's going to be at St. Joe's. Okay.
Yes.
So supplies, what does that entail?
Yeah. So a lot of the supplies, we reached out to them and asked them, and they asked for things like cereal, canned fruit, canned vegetables, Comet with bleach, toilet paper or toilet bowl cleaner, mop handles and brooms, just general things to keep the place running. And,
I see.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then we also reached out to Pet Refuge. Our second Saturday home game is going to be a supply drive for Pet Refuge.
I see. Are all the home games at St. Joe?
All the home games as of right now are going to be at St. Joe, yes.
Okay. So the next one's at Pet Refuge. That's awesome.
Yes, and our second supply drive is going to be on June 17th.
Okay, June 17th, second supply drive, Pet Refuge.
Yes, we've got 3 Saturday home games. And for each of those, we plan on doing a little bit of grilling, hopefully, as long as we're allowed to.
Yeah.
And we're going to be outside the stadium doing the supply drives. The third one is undecided as of now.
Nice. You have time.
Yeah, we got a little bit of time.
You have time to decide.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
And then for the month of June, we are also doing, we did this we started last year as our first official year.
Okay.
There is a program called Pride Raisers.
Okay.
So to celebrate, the month of June, for every goal that the South Bend Lions score, you can pledge any amount of money you want. So last year I just pledged $1 and we ended up scoring, I believe, 12 goals in the month of June.
Okay.
If I remember correctly. So that meant $12.
Nice.
And then that gets forwarded to a local community that helps, at-risk youth or people who are having issues. We supported the LGBTQ Center last year.
Neat.
So we're going to be doing that again this June.
That's awesome. That's just right up the street.
Yep.
On the avenue. I'll try to share those dates again as the dates approach, but just remember that May 27th is the homeless shelter supply drive and June 17th is the Pet Refuge. St. Joe High School. Next, you better get a pen out and write down the 6 Districts Coalition's social media pages. Speaking of social media, where can folks find you guys at?
So we have a Facebook group as well as Twitter and Instagram.
Okay.
So on Facebook, you can find us at 6 Districts Coalition. It's the number 6 and then Districts Coalition. It's just a public group, so anybody can join. It's more of kind of like a speaking board to get ideas out there and just talk about things.
Okay.
And then on Twitter, you can find us at 6DC Group.
All right.
And Instagram, you can find us at 6DC Group.
Nice. And I will try to have that in the show notes and just try to reshare those on our Twitter as well. Next, I asked RJ why fans should come out and support. And he describes an environment that to me would be a blast. Why should fans in the community go out and support the team?
So it's a unique atmosphere. As far as 6DC, we create this big atmosphere. We come in and we sing and chant the entire time. We make a ruckus atmosphere. Whenever we score, we light off smoke bombs. We've got banners going. So it's a fun time. And for someone like myself who doesn't really get to let out some of that pent up aggression in the middle of the day, it's a good chance to get out there and kind of make a fool of yourself a little bit. I always equate the supporter section as kind of like a college student section, but you're allowed to be 30 plus years old and still act like that.
Nice.
Within obvious bounds.
Well, of course.
Yeah.
But you can still kind of get out there and just cut loose a little bit.
Yeah. I like some creative trash talking.
Yes.
I always hold up a sign and it's got some kind of dumb insult. This player needs a warm glass of milk before he goes to bed. Anything to take them off their game just a little bit.
Just a little bit. Just some good nose, old fashioned, just needling and ribbing.
Exactly. And you're close enough. And a lot of these guys, coming from places a lot of our players were from Bethel last year.
Okay.
So they're not necessarily used to having a lot of big fans around them.
Right.
And they really love the support. We know a lot of the players pretty personally. They'll come up and talk with us. One of my favorite memories the entire year was last year for the last game. We had to have a goal differential of 7 to win the division.
Okay.
So it was a big task coming in. Even the team we were playing, unfortunately, there's a whole story to that, but they were off the rails. It was, most of them had given up before the game started. But still, 7 goals.
That's a big differential in a soccer match.
It's a big task. So they scored 3 goals in the first half.
The Lions did?
The Lions did. And we were sitting there like telling the guys, come on, we can do this. We can do this.
Yeah.
We can win this. And put our first trophy ever in the case. And they got down in every single goal in the second half. We were saying, one more.
Yeah.
And by the time they got to that 7th goal, we were elated. We were jumping up and down. And then the players jump into the stands and give us all big hugs because they knew we wanted it just as much as they did.
Yes.
And it was an amazing moment.
You just heard him mention a smoke bomb. You might be wondering, what in the world does a smoke bomb have to do with the South Bend Lions and their supporters group? Next, RJ shares just why we want the smoke. What are some of the props that you guys use during the games?
So big one that, is kind of, I wouldn't say our calling card because a lot of fans use it, but we kind of make it a big thing. Is we love using our smoke bombs.
Okay.
So this year we're experimenting with a couple new ones. We're trying out, but that's always a big thing. One of our guys he researches and looks like, okay, so do we want the ones that are 30 seconds and come out both ends, or one that's a minute long and only comes out one end, or the ones that do double the amount of smoke? So that's always a big conversation we got to have every year. And, one of our big chants, it's actually on our first scarf that we ever have, is we want the smoke. So we want the smoke. We'll chant it when we're doing corner kicks because we want to see a goal. But it also is kind of like, we kind of feel like we got a bit of a chip on our shoulder.
Yeah.
People talk down about South Bend all the time. We're like, no, this is our place. You can't talk about us like that.
Smoke.
Yeah,
I love it.
That's what it means in other terms. Is like it's kind of a little bit of slang for we're ready for the fight.
Right, exactly. Yeah, you don't want none of the smoke.
Yeah.
Oof. Meanwhile, the 6 Districts Coalition understands that there are little eyes and little ears watching them as well. They do not take that responsibility lightly. They understand that it is up to them not to pass the torch, but to pass the smoke.
Especially the kids, man. Oh my God, the kids love us, dude.
Yeah. They love seeing. We'll sometimes when they score a goal, we'll give one of the kids our flags. And we'll run down the stands with them and wave them in front of everyone.
So just other kids that are already at the game.
Yeah.
And so they're okay. Yeah.
And again, before game, we don't even tell them anything.
Right.
They'll literally just naturally come our way and they'll be like, "Oh, can I get a flag?" And "Oh, can I do this?" And they already know the chants. There's 2 kids that played in the club that I coach at right now, Junior Irish. Every time they're there, they make sure they sit right next to us.
Yeah.
And one of the younger kids, Joaquin, you remember Joaquin?
Joaquin.
Yeah, Joaquin. He's always like, "Oh, can you guys do the we want the smoke chant? We want the smoke. And he's the loudest one, and we're all grown men, and we're like, oh my God, we need this kid."
And now, a brief word from one of our sponsors. I want to thank Beef O Brady's in Granger for sponsoring this episode. Good burgers, tacos, wings, fajitas, and even surf and turf are on their menu. Check out their weekday restaurant deals, family meal deals, and catering menu. Grabbing takeout food for the family is simple. Just order online for a quick and easy pickup. They have a full-service bar and a party room that you can reserve for your family, friends, or business. Side note, I've rented out the party room a few times for special occasions and get-togethers, and it is great, especially if you're a guy. Because if you're like me, a lot of those little event planning details like silverware, plates, napkins, that all gets lost in the mix and forgotten. But with Beef O Brady's party room, you just call them up, reserve the room, tell them how many people and what you would like to eat and drink, and that's it. They do the rest. You just mingle and have a great time. Anyways, Beef O Brady's is locally owned, and in my experience, the staff there is outstanding, and the owner, Mark, is just a really, really good dude. Make Beef O Brady's your favorite sports bar restaurant every game day. You can find them at 12479 State Road 23 in Granger. The phone number is 574-271-1415, and their website link is in the show notes. And now, back to the episode. Speaking of the passionate young South Bend Lions soccer fans, next, Jonathon talks about the broader South Bend community and its relationship with soccer. And hand up here, soccer has never really been up there as one of my favorite sports. I mean, I've always had a great respect for the sport and have watched the World Cup every few years and even some of the bigger matches. But as a whole, it's rarely on my TV and not as much as, football, baseball, basketball. So it was really cool to hear the passion in Jonathon and RJ's voice as they expressed how cool it was to share their own love of soccer with others.
Yes. So, since before COVID, I used to run camps throughout South Bend.
Okay.
I was in partnership with Harrison Elementary on the west side.
Yep.
And for about 2 years before COVID, I was running soccer camps for kids over there. Mm-hmm. And it's something, oh my God, those kids, they look forward to it every single time whenever I show up with the soccer ball and stuff. But with COVID kind of ruined things here and there, I kind of put a stop to that, and it wasn't until I believe I was talking to Yana McDowell, who's the dean of students over there. Okay, and he I think he took the role there, and he was like, "Hey, listen, like, I know you used to run camps over there. Why not do that there?" And it's so awesome because like a lot of those kids, you sometimes think like, okay, like, I wonder if what I'm telling them, what I'm teaching them is mattering something. I still see kids that I coached from like before COVID that will be like, "Oh, Coach Jonathon, hey, what's up, man? How you doing?" And I'm like, dang, that's actually really cool. So again, a lot of what we do is just to kind of put a connection with the community, like a relationship. It's not just for us to be like, "Hey, oh my God, they look good," because they're doing all these charity stuff. It's really just to have a connection with the community.
You're darn right. So, exactly. Through soccer. I mean, with soccer as the focal point, but it's not just soccer. I mean, it's more than just kicking a ball around. I mean, you're forming partnerships, relationships. If anybody needs any help, support, they know where to go. Mm-hmm.
And it's funny you mentioned that about how like it's just with the ball in soccer, because if you go anywhere in the world, if you bring a soccer ball, like let's just say to like in Argentina or Brazil, you don't have to speak the language. If you just pop up with a soccer ball, they'll probably most likely play with you. I know in Mexico, that's kind of how it was for me when I was growing up there too as well. So
that was for me in Germany as well. I went over there to visit some family. Didn't speak a lick of German, but my first day there, the family we were living with, their kid brought me out. We went out to the local pitch and we just played soccer. Couldn't speak a lick of English.
Language.
But you could play together.
That's the beauty of it. That's the beauty of it.
Hey, that's crazy. That's wild.
A lot of what we do up to this point, we haven't had like our logo on a single piece of like clothing or any merchandise. So a lot of what we're doing is just because we care about this community. We love it so much. We want to make it better. It's literally not about us. We don't really publicize a lot of it because it's not about the accolades or anything like that. It's just doing good for the sake of doing.
And to add on top of that, RJ and other people will like tell me like, "Dude, why are you not posting it or something like that?" Right. Because to me, it's really more so about the relationship with those people, and that's already transcended into our group. Yeah. Like I think when we all first met, we were just kind of like, what are we doing here? Yeah. Now every Friday or Saturday, one of us send a text like, "Hey, let's go to Hop Station." You know what I'm saying? Go get a drink. Or, "Hey, you know what? There's a Cubs game that's going to happen this weekend. Why don't we go?" Yeah. So because of soccer, we all became really tight friends. You know what I'm saying? So it's like,
that's cool.
That's all it takes.
Yeah. That's cool. That's cool for sure.
I mean, a lot of good people through this team, through this group. And we're always looking for more people to come in. Yep. We had a few people last year just show up at one of our pregame festivities at Howard Park and was like, "Hey, I just moved here. I'm with Notre Dame. I want to be a part of this." I'm like, "Oh yeah, man, awesome. Come here. Here, we're gonna add you to the group chat."
Right.
First day, barely knew the guy. We're like, "You want to be a part of us? You're here."
No background checks. Just come on.
He's like, "Just come."
You heard that. Anyone can be a member of the 6 Districts Coalition. All you need to have is a love of our community. Even if you're not a huge soccer fan, no biggie at all, you're still welcome to come on out and support the South Bend Lions and help the 6 Districts Coalition's causes. Next, I ask if there's any chippiness between them and any opposing fans or teams. And turns out there is quite the rivalry with the Fort Wayne team. Has there ever been a situation that got chippy with other fans?
Fort Wayne gets a little chippy.
Does it? Because like you said, you have that little rivalry with them.
Yeah, the official term for it is it's the St. Joe Rivers Derby, because there's a St. Joe River that goes through Fort Wayne and a different St. Joe River that goes through South Bend.
Right.
Now, obviously, ours is better.
Of course. It's the mighty St. Joe. Of course.
But it started off friendly enough.
Yeah.
But it's really kind of the classic tale of, we played out a school field, which is kind of like, it's an old established field here. It's not necessarily the nicest place. And we've got an owner who's, taking his time, putting things out the right way, starting from the ground up. And over in Fort Wayne, you've got, big names like DeMarcus Beasley heading it up there. And they're making these big flashes of like, they've got their pregame rituals. They have like the podium with the ball on it, like you would see at like a World Cup, and the inflatable arch with Fort Wayne FC on it. So they're kind of like, we always joke they're like the haves. They put all this money into looking pretty. Like, we call them like the Mickey Mouse Club.
Yeah.
Because they're this big club, but 3 years they spend all this money. They spent so much money on trying to get players in.
Wow.
And they still haven't made the playoffs.
Wow.
Meanwhile, we've got a trophy in our case. We've beaten them 3 out of the 5 times and tied once. And the only time they beaten us was because of one goal that our player unfortunately had deflect off of them.
Oh, goodness. So are you guys like average Joes from dodgeball, and they're like the big bad Ben Stiller? You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, kind of, a little bit. I like to think of it more as like the small market clubs in baseball trying to go up against like the Yankees and the Red Sox of the world.
Globo Gym. And like White Goodman in dodgeball, the Fort Wayne Club tried changing the rules in order to win.
We like to get loud. We're not afraid of like little confrontation. They actually made a rule at Fort Wayne Stadium last year because of us.
No, talk to me.
So our president, Jonathon, he loves to get on the microphone and just, kind of trash talk a little bit. We always joke that DeMarcus Beasley's Daddy Beasley for him. He's the front guy. He's got the money. So Jonathon turns to him and when we're, he'll probably say this better than I can, but Jonathon turns to me and is like, Daddy Beasley, where's your money at now? He's, just talking to him and like getting a little chippy with the megaphone. Nothing bad, just
of course,
just annoying.
Good-natured, annoying, just ribbing.
And the next time we went down there, at the front of the stadium, it had a big sign that said, "No megaphones allowed inside."
Oh, so we can call that the 6th District Coalition rule.
Yeah, we joke it's the 6 DC rule.
There you go, the 6 DC rule. That sounds to me like the 6 Districts Coalition is living in the Fort Wayne Football Club's heads. Next, the guys explain all that goes into preparing for a South Bend Lions game. And if it's against the vaunted Fort Wayne, it is no holds barred. Man, after talking to RJ here, it must be pretty intense to be a South Bend Lion, just super fan supporter. So what all goes into preparing for a game?
Well, a lot of what we talked about, like I think he mentioned the group chat, is a little bit of like, what's the plan moving forward? What chants are we gonna do?
Yeah. So you had to decide the chant ahead of time. Okay.
Yes. And the cool thing about our chants is it's pretty obvious. I'm bilingual, like I mentioned. I'm from Mexico. We have chants that are in Spanish, and as well as they're in English.
Nice.
And some of the guys in our group already are learning Spanish because of us. Yes. So yes, it's a part of
for the save.
Absolutely. It's a part of just kind of like, what chants are we gonna do? What's the vibe that we're gonna feel out? Like, for example, we hate Fort Wayne FC. That's like the biggest thing.
That's a rivalry.
Oh man, and it sucks that we're not playing them this year. If it's a big game like Fort Wayne, we go all in. We'll bring more smoke.
Yeah.
We'll do more chants. We'll try to do more elaborate things, like, in the stands to get more people involved. And it's just really, we really just kind of do that. And as well as like thinking, what other events can we do like around the game? Like, for example, we did a march.
Yeah.
A march that it was actually a pretty decent sized number on Howard Park. And that's actually how we got the guy from Notre Dame, Sam. Shout out, Sam. You're a cool dude. So, but he joined us through events like that.
Okay.
So we'll like do that. We'll like do a meetup somewhere at a bar. And just kind of stuff like that,
Just to get mentally prepared to go and just cheer them on.
Yeah, I'm a pretty intense dude. So like a lot of the energy that I kind of have, I try to carry into them and be like, hey,
Let's go
for it.
I love it. As you can tell, the gentlemen go all out to ensure that the Lions have a competitive edge, which all contributes to a fun atmosphere and a lot of smack talk. Speaking of Fort Wayne and other fans, has there been situations that got chippy?
Oh man, there's so many, and mainly because of me.
well, let me hear it. Let's talk about it.
It's you or me every single time.
This guy. Let's talk more about this guy here. So he's known in the games for always having signs that say something like, snippy about like the other team. And at first, like, some of the people used to be like, pretty annoyed about like the players and the coaches. But then it got to the point where the players would literally look forward to his signs and they would laugh. And it'd be something like super like, mean towards them. And it'd be like, oh, that was actually really funny. And then me and RJ looking at each other like, dude, we're trying to hurt your feelings. What are you doing?
I mean, I do the best with them I can. I think one of my favorites was that coach needs to tie his cleats before the game.
Just simple little, silly little things, like no vulgarity. Probably,
no, not at all.
I take pride in like making it as clean and still as hurtful as possible.
No. I think there's this player called Brendan Graves, and he's like a legend in our supporters group because I kid you not, I don't understand how you as a goalie can't hit the ball more than 5 feet.
Yeah.
And so we and the fans and everybody will chant 5 feet Graves, 5 feet Graves. And he used to hate that to the point where like I remember one time, I think one of the games, he was like, shut up or something like that.
Yeah, you got a reaction out of him. That's what
but now
want.
He's like, he likes us. Yeah. He follows us on Instagram now. And it's like, come on, man. Like, why? Just go back to hating us,
It's a lot easier to not like you when you hate us.
I know. It's like, dude, what are you doing?
That's funny, man. But that all, to me, though, that all contributes to a fun atmosphere. I mean, my God.
Yeah.
It's not stuffy and... that contributes to a fun atmosphere.
No, for sure. I feel like the only time it really gets intense like that is like when we get close to like playoff season. When we're trying to get into the national playoffs. But for the most part, like I said, we're just trying to create an environment where people can really enjoy the game.
It has been really, really neat so far to meet with just the variety of different people since I started this podcast. And it was so cool to hear RJ talk about our area as somebody who has really just moved here more recently. Me being decades deep here, it was really neat to hear it through a different lens. And then Jonathon is somebody who moved here from a different country. Hearing him defend our city, we talk about that next and the pride that we have.
So another reason that I really love doing this, not just for the love of, this team,
right,
but also there feels like there's a big resurgence in this community.
Okay.
Absolutely.
And I noticed it since I moved here back in 2017, 2018, that there's a lot more people, like there's more optimism around here.
Yep.
And I remember going to a game and like, a lot of our chants are about, we are South Bend.
Yeah.
This is our town. Like, no one comes in here and doesn't feel our presence. Like, we love this place. And one father turns to Jonathon and I, and he goes, it's so cool that you guys have so much pride in the city, especially with me bringing my sons here. I never had something like this growing up. And being able to like see my son be proud of the place he comes from.
That's cool.
Is really cool to see.
That is, for sure.
I remember growing up in South Bend, a lot of people used to like, talk a lot of trash about South Bend, like I remember I went to a tournament and I think it was in Louisville for travel. And we told the coach like, yeah, we're South Bend.
Yeah.
And they were like, you made it out alive? And in my head, I remember in my head, I'm thinking like, why is he saying that? Like, we're really not that bad. But to touch base on what you're saying, it's so crazy because now you see a lot of South Bend flags. You see a lot of like people like, getting offended if you talk trash about South Bend online. I mean, I know I do. If someone talks trash about like, the West Side or my city, I'll be like, listen, dude, you don't know. Like,
we can criticize South Bend.
Oh,
you don't dare talk bad about my city.
It's the same as like your own family.
Yeah.
I can talk smack about my brother all day, but if you do, it's on.
No, and that's the thing. We're trying to instill that like, that pride into the city.
Civic pride.
Because it seemed like for many years, people were like that lived here would always talk trash about South Bend. And now it's like, it seems like people are really kind of feeling that passion.
Yeah.
I mean, you see on the West Side now too. Like now you see people talk about like, yeah, I'm from the West Side. Yeah. Like, we love being from the West Side. Like everywhere I go, I tell people I'm from the West Side of South Bend. So it's like, it's just kind of cool seeing that resurgence.
It is really cool. And growing up here, the past 10, 15 years, and you mentioned resurgence, that's all it's been. And the activity in our city now is leaps and bounds more than what it was when I was a kid.
And in downtown, you see people there all the time.
Absolutely.
Like, going down Howard Park, taking the trails, down the East Race or whatever. It's really cool.
Something going on at Fort Wayne's Field year round.
Absolutely. That's why I love looking at your page on Twitter,
Thank you.
Because you see a difference, you know what I'm saying? You really do.
That's why that's why I do the Twitter page. That's why I do this podcast, is to shine a light on our city, man, because a comment hearing that from that coach in Louisville to you, it's like, dude, you don't know. Yeah, we do have issues. We do, of course. Every city has issues. But that's why I want to do this podcast, is to shine a light on our city. And not just our current city also, but also the history of it too. Thank you for listening to another episode of Round the Bend Now and Then. Thank you, Jonathon and RJ, for coming on and sharing about the South Bend Lions supporters group, the 6 Districts Coalition. I hope that our listeners have gained an insight to the things that you do to fulfill your mission of supporting the South Bend Lions and at the same time lifting up our community. On behalf of the area, I thank you deeply for your service. Keep lighting those smoke bombs and bringing the smoke. We'll wrap it up here, but first, I have a few favors to ask. If you like the show, please be sure to share it with others that you think would appreciate it. Second, download or subscribe to the show on whatever podcast platform you use. Also, be sure to follow or like us on Twitter @RoundTheBendPod or on Facebook, Round the Bend Now and Then, or the original Twitter account @RoundTheBend574. Lastly, please provide me with any feedback. If you want to point something out that you appreciate, let me know. If you have any ideas for episode topics, let me know. Also, reach out and let me know if there's something that you feel that I can improve upon. You can always email me at roundthebend574@gmail.com or message me on Twitter or Facebook. Thank you again for joining me as we learn more about South Bend and Mishawaka's Now and Then.